How's it going, folks, and welcome back. It's episode number 85 of Park 2 Primera. If you missed the last episode, as always, do go check it out. Today, Youth Intake Champions League quarter-finals. Yes, we are getting into the big business end of the season. Of course, last time out, we slipped up against Real Madrid, and with that, we opened the door to Barcelona, who, with 6 games left of the season, continue to breathe down our necks. Yes, since you were last here, where we took on Real Madrid, we have got 2 wins. Not the most convincing, but we'll take them. The first was against Real Betis, and we got a follow-up win against Granada with the rotated 11 playing. Unfortunately for us, Barcelona have not slipped up, so they're still breathing, very, very heavily. I can feel them, and with 6 games left of the year, I am getting a little bit nervous. But today they are not the focus of things, because today we shift our focus to the Champions League. We've won La Liga already. It doesn't matter that much, does it? No, hoping that we can get a good result. Our opposition, if you were wondering, is Tottenham. One of 4 English teams left in the competition. Mourinho is still their manager. In this Football Manager universe, he was never sacked. He never left the club. They're currently in 3rd. He actually won the league with them a little while ago. Last season he finished 7th, but they had success in Europe, winning the Europa League, which meant that they got a Champions League spot. They're kind of making the most of it at the moment, and they are not going to be an easy team to dispatch of. Donnarumma in goal stands out. I mean, it's Donnarumma. He's good, isn't he? Also, Harry Kane and Ndidi in the midfield, and Igor, a Brazilian striker with an Igor. For some reason, I just assumed he'd be Russian. Is that a bad Igor? I guess I was thinking of Igor. Igor. Look, he's good. He's scary. They've got an okay team. I'm hoping, however, we're going to be able to come out on top. But before we get into those 2 games, we should take a look at this, the Development Centre and our youth intake for the year, because it's quite good. Of course, I feel like everyone wants to dream of those youth intakes where you get 5-star potential players. That doesn't happen when you're at the top of the Football Manager and footballing food chain. The realistic kind of outlook is if you get a 4-star potential player, they could end up being a pretty useful player in the first team. And as you can see, we had a pretty good intake on the whole. The big headline player, I suppose, is Ondrej Vljanic. That doesn't sound right, but I've tried. He is a Slovenian player, which is an odd nationality. Plays centre attacking mid, good physicals, good flair, great determination. Don't really like the fact he's unsporting and argues with officials, but we'll try and get that out of his game. He looks like he could be a pretty good winger going forward for the future. Elsewhere, we've got Nkene, who is from Equatorial Guinea. He is 15 years old, some good current ability. I kind of look at him and think, maybe you'd be a better centre-back than you would be a centre defensive mid. Is that a mad statement? I suppose the fact he's got dictates tempo and his jumping reach and height aren't the best maybe is a reason for concern. But generally speaking, he looks like a player with some good, potential, good ability, bit of a weird assortment of positions, but he could be one for the future. Elsewhere, a couple of other players worth mentioning. Abraham Sierra is a Spanish centre attacking mid. Again, temperamental. Apparently, this group of players just love to have fights and be unsporting and stuff. I'm sure the youth leagues are looking forward to it. He does look like a very good player, though, with some great flair, passing and vision. Definitely a creative player for the future. You may have spotted it. He has free dribbling, which is a tad upsetting. Elsewhere, a few other players worth being aware of. Blixt. It looks like a gamer tag on Xbox Live, doesn't it? His last name. He is from Macedonia. Good little player, good teamwork, not a bad centre-back at all. Don't know if I'd play him at centre-mid, which is his natural position, but we can review him and see how he gets on. Celso is a good little addition to the team, a young Spanish defender. And also Pablo Blaya from Andorra. Apparently has potential, but is unambitious, and his current ability, if I'm being honest, is not very good. So going into today's game against Tottenham, we are going with the 4-2-3-1. We're going with what I think is our best 11. It's going to be tricky, but we're at home for the first leg, so I really want a defensively solid performance. Let's minimise the number of away goals that we concede, really try and give ourselves a platform going forward. With kind of major competitions this year, we have been playing this best 11. I've not been rotating things that much in terms of mingling the teams, which I know something I talked about earlier on in the year has been something that I wanted to do. Obviously, we've done it a little bit with players like Baraktar and Avramides who have started when we've had injuries, But I do still feel like this is our best 11 by a margin. With the exception of perhaps the attacking positions, I don't feel like the second choice centre-back or the second choice wing-backs or even the second choice centre-mids are close enough to the actual starters, in this case Tonali and Kepanou, for me to ever realistically consider giving them a game based on performance. I'm someone who, if I have a starting 11 and I have kind of my backups and the quality isn't that different, I will, basically pick off form. I think that is the better way to approach things. But there is just a little bit too much of a gap, I feel like, particularly when it comes to our defence and our midfield, to ever be able to do that, because I do just think the raw quality is different. Players like Kepanou, I feel like he doesn't get his praises sung enough. Kepanou is actually nuts as a ball-winning midfielder. Like, he's got every attribute above a 14. And then you look at the amount there, like in the 18s and even, 20s and 17s. He is a super talented player. I don't feel like he gets enough credit. Maybe I'll start my own Kepanou fan club. I think it's too late to convince the Corridor fan club to switch allegiances. As for Tottenham, our opposition today, we've already mentioned it, but they are third in the Premier League. They're a good little team. Mourinho is still their manager, which I find odd, but they've won a Premier League title with him. They've also won the Europa League. And, they've got players like Bastoni, Donnarumma, Max Aarons, James Ward-Prowse, Vignato, Harry Kane. This is a pretty capable side. So we're going to need to come out in this first leg, put in a commanding performance, I hope, at home. Because going away from home, I do think things are going to get significantly more tricky. Right, into this game we go, and 3 minutes in, an early set piece. We're usually pretty deadly from these. On this occasion, they've cleared it, but, Conceição should get another chance to get it in. He will. Gvardiol, back post. Pedro Porro just seems to pop up at the back post constantly. It's his natural habitat. He just arrives there. I think this is the third episode in a row where he's just rolled up at the back post. No questions asked, and he's there to score it. The ball by Conceição here was pretty deep. Gvardiol got a good header on it. I'm not sure if it was meant to be a pass, but it doesn't really matter. Pedro Porro's got his foot on the end of it, squeezed it in from an acute angle. That is the perfect start to this quarter-final. And it could get better just yet. Hannibal to Pedro Porro, the goal scorer. Can't get his ball into the box, but Kepanou's there to mop up the pieces. Tonali, Siapina, Perez on the overlap. Loads of players queuing up in the middle. Whipped in hard and low. And Wrench, their centre-back, has just scored an own goal. I don't quite know what happened there. Perez has just whipped the ball in fairly low. Just trying to cause an issue, I suppose, across the 6-yard box into that corridor of uncertainty. And it's just deflected off the Spurs defender and gone in. I mean, we're 2 goals up within 10 minutes. I don't think we could have wished for a better start than this. Okay, maybe some defending needed. Ward-Prowse is a bit of a set-piece demon, although on this occasion, we're going to head it away, and maybe we can launch the counter-attack. Siapina leads this breakaway, dribbling down the right-hand side, tries to pick out Tonali unsuccessfully. Spurs getting plenty of men behind the ball when they don't have possession, but it's not served them well yet. And it does just give us this opportunity to pass it around the back with limited pressure on our players. Maybe allow them to pick out a pass or two. Sandro Tonali, Siapina, Pedro Porro, Siapina. Conceição's effort goes just wide. I mean, Spurs at the moment hanging on and then some. 7 shots, we've had 5 on target. They've just had their first of the game. Well, maybe that's a sign that they're slowly getting back into this. As Spurs now have the ball at the edge of the box. Ward-Prowse, Tonali steals it away. Hannibal now bringing the ball forward. It could be a 2-on-2. Siapina needs to watch his offside. Conceição is there. Can he finish it? Yes, he can. It's 3-0 after 32 minutes, and this could get very, very dangerous for Tottenham if they're not careful. This is very quickly turning into a rout. Hannibal brought the ball through superbly. Siapina, I don't know what Siapina, I guess he's waiting for the pass that never comes. Conceição has had a few misses this season, some in live comms that you've witnessed. He's got a goal there, and that was a pretty good finish at the end of a really, really nice breakaway. So at the break here, 3-0. I mean, there's not a lot really to be said. We've been really, really good. Players, I'm delighted. I mean, if we can avoid conceding an away goal, we know going into the second leg, if it finished 3-0, get 1 goal, they have to score 5. And it could still get worse. Siapina's initial free kick hits the wall, but then he just dribbles on through the middle and very nearly scores at the end of it. This feels like a game where, really, I should be making moves to just go more and more at Tottenham here. We're dominating possession. So many more chances being created, although they've still got that Ward-Prowse set-piece threat. Not for the first time, though. We've dealt with it pretty well, and it's Siapina yet again looking to launch the counter-attack. Loads of players at the back post. What a pass that is to Conceição, who probably should have scored that. That was an easier finish than his last one. He's hit it straight at the goalkeeper, and it's going to be dealt with. 3-0 it remains, but for how long you have to question. Donnarumma to the rescue. Tottenham looking really bad. And I realise I've not made any subs in this game, but everyone's playing so well. Do you ever have games in Football Manager where you just don't make subs because it's just a good team performance? I'm feeling a little bit like that today. Maybe I'm turning into Gareth Southgate, not making any subs. Anyway, Max Aarons for them to Vignato out on the far side. Tottenham, they're going to need an away goal, and I think they probably know that in the next 20 minutes, that they're going to need it. At least one to really give them a chance. It could leave them exposed, though, as well. We're looking to bring the ball forward here. Hannibal, all on his lonesome, and that was not very far wide of the post now, was it? I'm going to make some changes. Porro's not at the best of games, so I'm going to bring in Avramides. And you know what? Siapina, he's done okay, but I'm going to bring in Guk Deniz, because Guk Deniz, he just gets goals. It's what he does. And well, with 20 minutes left, it feels bizarre to take off players on 7.3 ratings, but ultimately, I can probably afford to rotate it a little bit and just protect them as much as anything. Siapina has had issues with injuries this year. Pedro Porro down this right-hand side. I mean, as I said, it might not be all done yet. There could still be more action here. The subs are yet to be made, so maybe with their last touches of the game, Siapina or Pedro Porro could get involved again. Conceição threaded through. He was offside, though, but the way in which we were just knocking the ball around there, just in that random pointless highlight, gives you an idea of the way in which we're just penning Spurs in here. 10 minutes left. They're on the ropes. They've not really looked like scoring. I'm being told to take off Hannibal for Calderon, and you know what? We'll do it. 3 minutes left in this game. The second half has somewhat fizzled out, but what a superb performance throughout. Creating so much in this game. You can see here the XG kind of totals. They had a 0.27 XG. Tottenham completely shut down. A superb performance, which hopefully is going to lead to a slightly more relaxing second leg. Elsewhere, PSG and Man City finished 4-0. Dortmund drew 1-1 with Chelsea. There was a late sending off in that game. And Arsenal drew against Juve 3-3. If I'm not mistaken, we will play the winner in the semi-final, assuming we win this game, which at this point feels likely. We will play the winner of Dortmund v Chelsea. So get prepared for that one. I mean, there's Jack, you can't say that. Yeah, I'm jinxing it. We've still got to go away from home. We've got Getafe in midweek. Conceição, you are beautiful. I'm going to be back in just a moment. We're heading over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's see if we can get a result here. Okay, folks, we're back. And, well, we've got the second leg against Tottenham. In midweek, we rotated our team. We lost to Getafe. What does it mean for the league title? Nothing, because Barcelona lost to Bilbao. Of course they did. When we slip up, Barcelona slip up. So the points remain the same in terms of the gap between the two teams. The unbeaten season was lost yesterday. So doesn't it? I'm not bothered, honest. Doesn't bother me. Okay, maybe it bothers me slightly. But it's a bit of an annoying defeat because we could have pulled away from them further. But at the same time, it's fine, right? We played a rotated 11. We're going to make it to the Champions League semi-final. This is the team that played that last game, so let's quickly just switch the best 11s around. We're fully rested and raring to go. We beat Tottenham 3-0 in the first leg. This should be a nice and simple win. I feel like those don't come around all that often, but it feels like today should be one of those, so hopefully I'm not going to be let down. At home, we were superb. Going to England, it's going to be tricky. It's my homeland, though, so maybe I get some kind of home field advantage from it. I actually used to live just a little way away from White Hart Lane. I used to get the train past it every single day back when, of course, it was White Hart Lane. It's the London Stadium now. Either way, I'm not sure what benefit that gives me here as manager of Racing, playing in the new stadium in Football Manager. But look, I used to go past White Hart Lane every day, so it's familiar territory. And well, Hannibal, of course, former Premier League player, in familiar territory, and very nearly scored an absolute wonder goal there. Of course, the big thing for Tottenham is not to concede an away goal, because if they do, they have to score 5, and it is kind of game over at that point. Looking at these stats early on, this is more of a one-sided game than the first leg. Unfortunately, we've not yet found a breakthrough, but this is exactly what I want to see from us. You can see, looking at their team, it's a good team. You've got players like Vignato, Donnarumma. How good's Bastoni here? I mean, he's as good as any of my centre-backs, isn't he? If we're being honest. And then players like Kane. How good is Kane? How good is Kane at this round? I'm curious. He's their captain. I mean, his legs might have gone. He's still pretty blooming good, though. And they've got Vignato. I mean, I'm surprised at how well we're doing here. It's 3-0 at the break. They are doing absolutely nothing. Kind of don't mind if it just continues like this, really. Okay, so into this second half we march. And, well, Tottenham, they need 3 goals to turn it around. There's a degree of inevitability about it. I would love to get a lovely, nice, convincing win. Absolutely no nonsense here. Just to kind of make the result as comfortable as it can be. But ultimately, we knew after the first leg we put ourselves in a great position. And it feels very, very likely at this point we are going to reach another Champions League semi-final. It's going to be the 3rd one we've reached. The 3rd in 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. Pep Guardiola could never. And, well, Ramadani getting a good little save there. We shouldn't talk about the fact we're in the semi-final yet. There is still half an hour left here, and Tottenham appear to be going for it. And, well, Ramadani to the rescue again. Wasn't tested much in the first half. Wasn't tested much in the first leg. He's been tested now. Tottenham bringing it forward again as well. I don't like this. Pessina in the wide area. Ward-Prowse, Kane, Kapanu, great tackle. Lumps it forward. No one really there to aim for. Over the Siapina. Max Aaron's on the overlap now. Drifting inside. I mean, if they got one, do I have to start to panic? Vignato's effort goes wide. Right, you know what? Petrozuolo's on a booking. We're going to bring in Galarreta just to avoid the red card. Also, Luzzi's fit again. You know what? Let's give Luzzi a game over Siapina. Protect Siapina who gets injured. Bring on Luzzi who always gets injured. Ever since I brought him in to replace Mahika, it's like there's been a curse put on Luzzi. He plays the odd game here and there, plays quite well, and then just gets injured every time. Hopefully he can make it through 15 minutes here, otherwise I will actually start to believe there is a curse laid upon him. Anyway, Gvardiol looking to bring the ball forward here. Perez down the line to Conceição. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we've also got the Copa del Rey as well as the Champions League semi-final. It's going to be a bumper episode. And I'm saying that as if we're into the semi-finals. I'm going to say it. We're into the semi-finals. There is no way in hell we are bottling this from here. We'll bring in Calder on with our last sub. I mean, we've not really created enough in the way of highlights this game. They've created nothing themselves. 0-0. I mean, it's a bit of a weird 0-0. We've had loads of chances. I'm surprised we've not seen more highlights. I guess we've just been a little bit wasteful. Shots from range and the like. But ultimately, I can't really blame the players too much for a degree of complacency. As much as I would love to win this game on the night, and I suppose it still could happen here, it does feel a tad unlikely as we approach the last 50 seconds of this game. Perez to Tonali, who's going on forward, gets tackled away by Max Aarons. Now with Green. Cutting inside. Be wary. I mean, if he'd scored that, I'd just walk away from my keyboard and have a cry. I think that would be the best way to approach things. I mean, Luzzi could still score. Is there time? 23 seconds? I'm really trying to sell the fact there's something here going to happen at the end of the game. I want to believe. Conceição. Perez. There's options in the middle. Calderon on off the bench. Pedro Porro. Probably the best chance we've had all game. It's come in the last 5 seconds. He's missed it. And with that, I think that is going to be all she wrote. Unless, I mean, it's ended. Both teams want a goal, it turns out. But neither team wants to lose this game. In the end, however, it's going to finish 0-0 on the night. Donnarumma, I think, has just got man of the match, which probably gives you an idea of the kind of game it's been. He's pretty good in Football Manager, is that Donnarumma kid. In the end, though, we've made it through. Elsewhere, Chelsea make it through. Arsenal are knocked out by Juventus, and PSG have beaten Man City. So Arsenal, 3 Champions Leagues in a row they'd won. It's not going to be a 4th. And as we already alluded to previously, we've got Chelsea up next. We have Chelsea in not too long at all. We are into the business end of the season. And as I already kind of mentioned, tomorrow, it's a big one. Copa del Rey final, Champions League semi-final. Yeah, lots of big matches on the horizon to end the year. And that's not really acknowledging the fact the league could still go down to the wire, which we've not really had an end-of-season live com in the league in recent memory of Racing. I feel like our league position's always been kind of already settled. We're a few games to spare. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the case this year. But anyway, gang, that is going to wrap up everything from me today. Those things are tomorrow's problems to worry about. I hope to see you guys next time. Great result against Tottenham. Good little youth intake. The treble is still on. I want to believe it can happen. I'll see you tomorrow to see if it can happen. Until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you in a bit. I'm out.